Reverend Omatayo Christine Cosanius has found a way to marry her two passions in life, God and children, with the help of her own children, Chase and Channing. The development of Salem's youth ministry, known as SIM, is working hard at providing the children and families of Roslyn Heights exposure to resources and experiences for both the relationship spiritually and for life. Reverend Omotayo would like to thank Reverend Stephen Michael Lewis and the entire Bethel AME family for grounding her and cultivating best practices throughout her mentorship. A special thank you to the Christian Education Department, Missionaries, YPD Department, and the Department of Evangelism and Bible Study participants and leadership. You have taught me skills and strategies that will be used in leadership at Salem. Reverend Omotayo is the proud mother of two, an educator, and the proud pastor of Salem AME Church, the small church with a friendly spirit. Reverend Dr. Zarina Costello serves as the Director of Community Engagement for both the Center for Spirituality and Health and for the Center for Stress Resilience and Personal Growth at the Icahn School of Medicine. She facilitates the multi-faith initiative on community and health, working with faith and community-based organizations, where her role is to help with the integration of faith and health in the community. Her role also includes serving as the director for the Micah Project HEAL, which is an education, health screening, and promotion and advocacy effort to engage congregations and communities in medically underserved areas surrounding the Mount Sinai Health System hospitals throughout the New York City area. Dr. Zarina also co-facilitates an anti-racism task force for CSH. Her specialty is pastoral care and counseling. Previously, she worked at Texas Christian University Bright Divinity School as a director of counseling and training center in Fort Worth, Texas, and for the Department of Defense, providing counseling to enlisted and civilian personnel in her private therapy practice. As an ordained elder in the African Methodist Episcopal denomination, she serves on the ministerial staff of Bethel AME Church in Freeport, New York. She is a bilingual Spanish language, culture, Puerto Rican heritage, and an itinerant elder. Reverend Gail Drayton, a Bachelor of Arts from Adelphi University in Social Work, Masters of Divinity from New York Theological Seminary. She ministers throughout the connection, preaching at various churches such as Bethel AME of Port Washington, Bethel Babylon, St. Charles AME in Boston, and Bethel Copiague. She was the coordinator of the Women's Ministry of Bethel AME in Freeport, New York. She is a member of Women in Ministry of New York. She has traveled extensively preaching and ministering to God's people. Throughout her itinerancy, she has assisted with communion, presided over funerals and weddings, collected items for those in the community and prison system, and ministered to women in recovery. She passionately served the sick and the shut-in alongside Reverend Gordon. Reverend Gail Drayton is a local deacon. Reverend Harding Antonio Dunlap holds a Bachelor of Arts from Wilberforce University, a Master of Divinity from New York Theological Seminary. He served as pastor of Emmanuel Montclair, Trinity Smithtown, and Salem AME in Roslyn, New York. He is the current chairman of Merrick Park Gardens Cooperative Apartments. He is the former executive director of the Alpha Phi Alpha Senior Citizens Development, where he built a state-of-the-art facility for those in the community. He is a life member of Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity, and his favorite scripture is, "The Lord is my light and my salvation, whom shall I fear?" Reverend Harding Antonio Dunlap, itinerant elder, superannuated. Reverend Tyra Lynette Frazier holds a Bachelor of Administration of Justice from the University of Missouri, Kansas City, a Master of Arts in Christian Ministries from Liberty University School of Divinity, and a Master's of Divinity from the School of Divinity of Liberty University. She is an ordained itinerant elder. She previously served as pastor of Morris Brown African Methodist Episcopal Church in Queens, New York, and was the former executive minister to Stephen Michael Lewis. She is currently serving as pastor of Bethel AME Church in York, Pennsylvania. She entered ministry with two of her greatest colleagues, Reverend Dr. Robin L. Johnson and Reverend Omotayo Christine Colsenius. Under the mentorship of Reverend Stephen Michael Lewis, she has navigated her first and second pastoral appointment. She is a liturgical dancer, mime, flag and worship leader, mother, and preacher. Reverend Harry Gordine, a native of Goose Creek, South Carolina, born on December the 25th, 1937. He arrived in New York City August the 19th in 1957 and joined Bethel AME Church in November of 1957 under the pastorate of J.P. Washington. He continued to work in various capacities under each successor thereafter, namely Reverend Berry, Reverend C.B. Barrow, Reverend S. Frank Emanuel, who affirmed his start in his ministry journey by giving him an opportunity to preach his initial sermon and began in the ministry of pastoral care of the sick and shut-in, a role he continues in today. He received his license under Reverend Joseph Robinson. Faithfully, he continued to serve his church under Reverend Simon P. Bowie, Reverend Harry J. White, and presently Reverend Stephen Michael Lewis. His service in Bethel began as a custodial and landscape helper to Brother John Rowe. He assisted in maintaining the building and grounds of Bethel on Helen Avenue. He assisted Miss Viola M. Ross, the church organist, in bookkeeping by recording the weekly church contributions. In 1962, Brother James Omer invited him to join the steward board. He served there until 1974 when he answered the call to preach. He trained at the AME Institute from 1974 to 1976 and the O.M. Kelly Religious Training Institute from 1972 to 1976. Throughout his tenure at Bethel, he served as head custodian, class leader, Sunday school teacher, and Sunday school superintendent, young adult choir member, and men's day choir. He loves God and serving God's people. Reverend Harry Gordine, itinerant elder, supernumerary. Reverend Jessica Christine Mitchell holds a BA in Social Work from Lamont Owen College, a Master's in Social Work from Howard University. She has a Master of Divinity from Howard University School of Divinity. She is an ordained itinerant elder in the 6th Episcopal District. She is the Executive Minister of Bethel AME in Freeport, New York. She is a liturgical dancer, preacher, mental health facilitator, and chaplain. On behalf of the entire ministerial staff, we would like to thank Reverend Stephen Michael Lewis and Team Bethel for allowing us the opportunity to serve.